Welcome to this lesson on finding the volume of rectangular prisms. Please make sure you have these notes in front of you so we can begin our lesson. The learning objective for today says I can solve volume of rectangular prism problems. The first vocabulary word we're going to talk about is three-dimensional figure. And a three-dimensional figure has a length, a width, and a height, which is the reason why it's called three-dimensional, because the length, width, and height are the three dimensions. The second vocabulary word is called prism. And a prism is a three-dimensional figure with two parallel, which means they never touch, and congruent, which means equal bases. So the bases are parallel and they're congruent. So let's take a look at this figure. I have a blue base on the top that is congruent to the blue base on the bottom. And these two sides are parallel. The next vocabulary word is called volume. And volume is the amount of space inside a 3D figure. So if we look at this cube right here, I can fit little cubes inside of the bigger cube. And at the end of the day, I can go ahead and figure out how many little cubes I can place inside of the bigger cube, and that's the volume. So in order to figure out the volume of a rectangular prism, you're going to need to know three different informations so that we can plug it into our formula. We're going to need to know the length, the width, and the height. So let's use this formula. The volume is going to equal to the length times the width times the height. Or you can use this formula, which means the same exact thing. You can go ahead and find the area of one of the bases of your rectangular prism. So in this case, find the area of the red region, which is just length times width, and then multiply it by the height to figure out how much space is inside of that volume, or that rectangular prism. So you can write it like this. Volume is equal to the base, which is the red region when you found the area of the base, and then you multiply it by the height. Both of these formulas mean the same exact thing. So let's use these key concepts to discuss the following examples. For example, when it says find the volume of the rectangular prism. So notice they are giving us our units in centimeters, centimeters, and centimeters. What that means is if I have a little cube that is 1 centimeter long by 1 centimeter high and 1 centimeter wide, I want to know how many of these 1 centimeter cubes can I fit inside of this shape, or this rectangular prism. So let's use this formula. Volume is equal to length times the width times the height. So my length is 12 centimeters, the width is 10 centimeters, and the height would be 6 centimeters. So let's go ahead and multiply. 12 times 10 is 120. Let's multiply that by 6. So 120 times 6 would equal to 720. So what this means is I can fit 720 of those little 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter cubes inside of this rectangular prism. So my volume is equal to 720 centimeters to the third power. So pause the video and complete these guided problems, and we'll discuss the answers in class tomorrow. Notice I have two guided problems on this slide, guided problem A and guided problem B. For example 2, it says a cereal box has the dimensions shown. What is the volume of the cereal box? So for this example, I'm going to use volume is equal to the big B times by the H. So remember that big B would be the base, or the area of the base of my rectangular prism. So I know that if this side is 3 1/4, that would be the width. This side right here is what I need. But if you look at the top, it's saying that the length is already 8 inches, so I'm going to call this side 8 inches. So let's go ahead and find the area of the bottom portion of the cereal box. So by doing length times width, I can do 8 times 3 1/4. If I convert my mixed number into improper fractions, I get 13 over 4. And I can make 8 into a fraction by placing it over 1. and I would go ahead and multiply straight across. So 8 times 13 gets me 104. And the bottom would be 1 times 4, which is just 4. So if I reduce 104 divided by 4, the area of the base of my rectangle would be 26 inches squared. So what we just found was the base of the rectangular prism. Now we have to multiply by how high it is to get the volume. So using my formula, volume is equal to the big B, which we came up with was 26 inches squared, multiplied by the height, which is 12 1/2. So I made 26 into a fraction by placing it over 1. I'm going to convert the 12 1/2 into a improper fraction, so that becomes 25 over 2. Let's go ahead and multiply straight across. 25 times 26. I would get 650 on the top, and 1 times 2 would be 2. So if I simplify that further, 650 divided by 2 gets me 325 inches to the third power. So if we pay attention to our units, we are given inches, inches, inches. If I have a little cube and each side is worth 1 inch high and 1 inch wide, I can fit 325 of these 1 inch cubes inside of my cereal box, and that's the space that it's going to fill. So 325 inches to the third power. So pause the video and complete this guided problem, and we'll discuss the answers in class tomorrow. For example 3, it says find the missing dimension of the prism. The difference with this problem is that they're giving us the volume now. So they're giving us the volume is equal to 84 meters to the third power. So let's plug it into this formula. Volume is equal to length times width times height. I know the volume is 84 meters to the third power. Now my length would be 6 and my width would be 4. And I don't know the height, so I'm going to call it h. So let's go ahead and rewrite this. 84 is equal to 6 times 4, which is 24 times h. And if I draw my fulcrum down the center of the equal sign, this is multiplication on the right hand side, so let's do the opposite and divide both sides by 24. So if I divide 24 on both sides, the 24's cross out, h has been isolated, and 84 divided by 24 would be 3.5. So the height of my missing dimension of this prism would be 3.5 meters high. So pause the video and complete this guided problem, and we'll discuss the answer in class tomorrow. So now that we've completed this lesson, go ahead and self-rate yourself and let us know how you feel. If there's any part of this lesson that you do not understand, please go back and watch it again. Also come to class with some questions so we can discuss it in further detail.